Just letting people know. You can come and hang out. Hopefully some people will stop in and say hey, that'd be awesome. Otherwise, I'm just gonna sit here and do some data entry. And I'll probably just ramble a little bit about the monsters that I'm inputting. Unless people pop in and have other conversation topics to discuss. Hey, what's up, Spaz? What's up, Terrell? Or Terrell? Ostrander. Ostrander is a cool last name. Hello. Hey, Trevor. Hey, Java. Long time no see. A couple of you were in my morning stream. Thanks for popping in again. Oh, hey there. How's the weather? I'm excited for the next couple sanity damage arcs. I think that they're going to be really fun. Trevor. If you're current, you know they're in for some rough water. If you're not current, I won't say anything else. Let me pull up my Terrell Ostrander. Okay, cool. Hey, how's it going, Solo Wolf? Playtest till it breaks. Good to see you both. Let me pull up the data. I'm just doing wiki data entry. Java, nice to hear that you're playing some D&D right now. How's everyone's day? I was not as productive as I needed to be, but that's okay. After my morning stream, I did some work, and then I got hungry, and I went to my fridge and there was nothing. And I went to my cupboard and there was nothing. My pantry. And so then I went to Panda Express and there was food there. And then on the way back, I stopped in a local game store and got an expansion to Legendary, the Marvel deck building game. Solo Wolf, you will be playing MythCraft this Saturday. That's awesome. I'm very excited for you. Let me know how it goes. Do you know what your character build is going to be? Have you made a character, or are you MCing? And yeah, I know, I will. But there's things to do. I found some food. I got some food. I cooked it. I'm not hungry right now, but it's ready for me to go get out of the fridge. I understand you mean grocery shopping. I got it. Food is ready. Food is in the fridge now, so I'm set. But this afternoon I was not. Is there armadillo folk in MythCraft? Not yet specifically. No, we don't have directly armadillo folk. We have things that you could flavor as an armadillo folk. The ones that come to mind are the Klepin, which are the small forest creature, like squirrel folk, rabbit folk, that kind of umbrella creature. You'd have to just take that and then figure out how to build it defensively. The other option that comes to mind is a remnant, which is kind of like a Warforged with like some different lore specific to our MythCraft setting. But you could just reskin that, like, that's going to be the one with all of the defensive abilities, so you could reskin that as an armadillo folk, instead of, like, a walking suit of armor. Cleric or Juggernaut Berserker. Nice. So going either... If you play a Cleric, are you going to go healing support, or are you going to try to go, like, laser, like, Sunbeam Cleric? Hey, how's it going, Jib? Thanks for dropping in. How was your day? Nice. That's awesome, Trevor. Cleric tank. Hit points 90. Armor rating 42. I don't know why there's not a way to move this around. State of play announcements. There's like a heart icon over part of your, I mean, I can click it to like give you like a heart emoji, but it's right over some of the text, so I can't read like some of the words that the people type. I'm not sure why it's put there instead of over on the left side, so it doesn't cover text up, but whatever, not the end of the world. Currently running a MythCraft game. Awesome. Is it the Spaz, is it the Cloven Lands one that you were running with some folks for a while, or is this Tales from Yavard, or is it a different project? Thanks. I'm glad you're getting good use out of it. I'm glad you think it looks good. Jake found someone to like punch up the CSS a little bit and make it look really like fun, easy to use, and like gamey. So I'm really happy with the work the whole team has done there. Skills. This thing is highly intuitive. This is a Dave, it's like, let me see if I can... Give me just a second and I'll get the illustrations up here too so we can see those. I don't, Pierre. I just, like this one earlier was resist. I just got rid of that, because it doesn't have it. There we go. I really want an NPC generator on this. I really want a PC like charactermancer on this, but one step at a time. I don't know how long before we can get to that kind of stuff. Do some basic formatting here. Let's see. All of you know this, but if you're watching and this is like entertaining, I'm just doing data entry, but if you enjoy that, if you haven't heard of Veil of the Eternal Night, go look up Veil of the Eternal Night. It is a Kickstarter we're currently running for a vampire gothic horror grimdark tabletop role-playing campaign for both MythCraft and 5th edition. Yeah, all in due time. NPC generators, I think, would be really fun. Nice, that's awesome, Doodly. Yeah, I'd like that kind of thing. I'd like a, like, personality tables that you can just roll on. I mean, we've got some of that in the Mythcrafter's Guide, but where you just, like, click and it does it. That would be really cool. So I'd like to see that. I'd like to also see something where you can, like, take a, you can click and it will randomly pick an NPC, like, stat block out of the official NPC stat blocks, and then plug in lineage options based on the, based on the lineage of the NPC. I think that would be really fun. I'm not a coder. I have no idea what goes into that, but, that would be a really cool thing if we're able to get that to work out. Well, thanks for hanging out while you're at the gym. And thanks, I'm glad to know, Silly Wolf, that you were inspired by my holy hand grenade of Antioch. I had a lot of fun designing that. I can't remember if you were in stream or if you saw it later, but in case you missed it, I did a design stream of 2 new monsters for MythCraft, so that should be somewhere. Let me think about where I am. That should be somewhere on the YouTube feed that way, or maybe that way. On the side where you can see other videos. There's a I designed an Ice-Skeeto progenitor, which is like a giant eyeball with mosquito wings and a proboscis, and it can turn your eyeball into more Ice-Skeetos. And I designed a Millicry Lumberer, which is just like kind of a big flesh pile that spawns smaller flesh piles. Murder monsters, exactly. Yes, it has a delightful ability called a flesh flagellation. Flagellation. No, flatulation, not flagellation. Those are different things. Okay, cool. Yeah, I would, it's not scheduled yet, so I'm not certain that this is gonna happen, but we did unlock both the lycanthrope and the vampire class options for stretch goals that we hit as part of this Kickstarter. So I might do a design stream where I design one of those. Not the whole thing, and not in like playable detail, because designing a class is a long ordeal. It usually takes me several days to fully design a class, but some of the ideation and some of the like basic abilities on different tracks could be really fun. Where, Andy? Where? Oh, here? Is there anywhere else? Attacks? Ah, attacks, yes, you're right. Is that all of them? Hope that's all of them. The whole... What, the whole... The whole wiki? I'd rather get more monsters in than backtrack and do that for the whole wiki. The, I agree that it should be... I'm gonna get in trouble. I agree that it should be completely correct in the books, and that when we print the books for the next time, we should make sure that stuff like that is completely correct. I don't think anyone is going to misunderstand what we mean if I miss a space bar on the wiki. Okay. Well, thank you, Andy. Hey, welcome back, Jan. Good to see you again. What time is it there? I know you're significantly ahead of the US folks. Is it like 10 p.m. where you are, I think? Let's see. Just did the Deva. Next up is the Death Knight. One of Kyle's favorites. Got some good art from John there. 16. Okay, past midnight. Okay. Well, thanks for stopping in and hanging out with us. I'm just doing some data entry here. I'm not designing anything on this stream, but just hanging out. Okay, I want the formatting to be consistent, so I will take your direction. Yell at me if you see me do something and I'll fix it. If anyone has any rules questions for MythCraft, I'm happy to talk through those. Generally, like, easier stuff, like if you make me go dig in the player's handbook, I will, but I'd rather just do data entry and talk about, like, if you're new to the game, I can point you in the right direction. Otherwise, I might just recount some stories from TTRPGs that I've done in the past. I found out the other day that Andy and I were in different tabletop groups, but had very similar campaigns. We each did like a mythologies of the real world campaign, where like Greek gods and Norse gods and Egyptian gods and all of those different things were lost my train of thought with Andy's comment there. Where all of the different like gods were the like patrons. It's basically, in D&D terms, I guess it'd be like everyone is a warlock, kind of like you get powers from different gods. That's actually the first role-playing game that I ever designed. I would love to play another one like that too, Andy. Andy did not play the one I designed. I never published the one that I designed, but I can't because I used a ton of Percy Jackson references specifically, and obviously I can't publish that without jumping through a lot of like licensing hoops, and you know, maybe one day, but that's just a time-consuming process. Anyway, so each of the different classes that my players got to pick in that campaign were instead of like fighter or wizard, it was child of Poseidon or child of Athena, and so those were the different like classes that you got to pick. Clarification, what is the DR on the monster stat block? DR is damage reduction. And let me find it on the Death Knight, or on the Deva, if that's where it was. Or let me just find a quick monster and I'll use it as an example. Here we go. The Durgu, a gross The Last of Us style thing. It has DR5/Radiant playtest, so that is damage reduction 5. Whenever it takes damage, it reduces that damage by 5, unless the damage it takes is radiant. So the slash and then a damage type, that's the type of damage that overrides the DR. So like a werewolf might have a DR/silvered, or weapons made with silver, something like that. That's what DR is. Double line to separate the different action options. Okay. I think I know what you're saying. Let me... So for formatting consistency, Andy, is it like I format all of this and then I just leave a space there? Is that what you're saying? Couldn't find it. I'll double check after this. I'll double check and be sure it is, because if there's not a clarification in the book, I think it's like that's not what you mean. Okay. Playtest till it breaks. If it isn't in the book, it definitely needs to be. I think it's somewhere in chapter 1 where it's like explaining what different types of monster actions are and things of that nature. Pierre, you're just cooler than me. I only edit in code mode when I have to. Add a row above the ones that say... Make it a heading to... Oh, like go into code and add another code row. That? Edit in source, yeah. No, just go to the arrow on the left. Whoa, that's so cool. I didn't know that existed. But this is what you were talking about, Indy, right? So, or it can do this, and then, or it can do that. Got it. Okay, I think we're good now. Okay, cool. I will do that moving forward. Especially now that I know I can use this little amazing arrow feature here, so I don't have to go into source mode. That's awesome. Down here, we might not actually remove that, Pierre. We might keep that. I have to look into some accessibility stuff, like if this background prevents... I don't think it should because it's still text, but if the background for some reason messes with like text to braille or text to speech, like those kinds of features, then we still need the features typed out down here. But right now I'm just leaving it blank. We'll get it all figured out. No worries. What is everyone's, either one you're playing currently or one from history? What's a yeah, that's true. We can always add it back pretty easily. What's a favorite player character from any tabletop game that you've played as? Hey, welcome, Latimus. Right now I'm just doing some wiki data entry and just kind of hanging out for a couple hours. That's about it. Yeah, I'd love to hear about some of your favorite like highlight PCs. I'll talk through a couple of mine. Before I do, real quick, just because I thought of it, Cody is hosting a movie night in our Discord, so discord.gg/MythCraft, to watch a movie with Cody in just a a couple hours here. It's at 9 Eastern time. So, yeah, 2.5 hours from now. So, I'll be streaming for 90 more minutes, and I'm gonna pop off and eat dinner, which I do have now. Thank you very much. Playtest till it breaks. I have dinner. It's in the fridge. And then pop back in and watch a movie with Cody. We're watching 30 Days of Night tonight. So fun oxymoron in that title. I don't know anything about that movie. I have not heard of it, but it's vampires, so I'm excited to see it. Minotaur Eldritch Knight. Nice. Eldritch Knights are really fun. I feel like they're kind of overlooked. Nice. Tacos are always good. Nivets. I do love Nivets. Creed, a hexblade pact of the blade warlock with a pair of sentient brass knuckles that can turn into a raven. Wait, do the brass knuckles turn into a raven named Tenet, or does Creed turn into a raven named Tenet? Either way, it's really cool. I'm just not quite sure what to picture there. Speed 30 feet. Traits. The brass knuckles, dude. That's awesome, Jan. That's so cool. So Creed and Tenet. I like the play on words that you do there. That's really cool. I'm trying to think back through all the different characters I have played. Certainly the ones that I have played in the Homebrew podcasts that I've been a part of are very dear to me. Miraz the Magnificent, Wizard Extraordinaire. Not really what he seems. He claims to be a great wizard. He doesn't know a single spell. He's really fun. Atreides, a god among mortals. He was very fun. He was a cleric who was his own deity. He was his own patron. I'm grateful to Cody for letting me take that and run with it. And Hildegard, young, recently orphaned girl trying to make her way in a politically complicated world in MythCraft, the podcast. So all three of those characters are very fun for me. Kitsune with the gut sword. That's really cool. That's fun. Very anime. Yeah, wizard. Is that a comma instead of a period? I think it was. The Death Knight can take 5 actions. Thank you, I'm glad you like Hildegard. I love, Andy, your characters and my characters always have really fun interactions. I really like what we've done there. Beginning with Pickles being my favorite early memory of Andy it's when we started Tower Word Fail together, and I was introducing Miraz the Magnificent, and Andy was Pickles, and Pickles was Miraz's travel companion, and hype person, like personal crier, like, behold Miraz the Magnificent, and I introduced myself in character to like the rest of the party, and I introduced myself as Miraz the Magnificent, Wizard Extraordinaire, and Andy as Pickles went, no autographs. And then Ian, who was playing Ambrose, one of the other players, was like, I don't want an autograph. And Andy immediately went, why don't you want an autograph? And I've just always loved that that introduction to Pickles. That was really fun. And then Pickles and Atreides had really good interactions as well, and now Hildegard and Curious are both terrified of each other in MythCraft podcast. Or the Death Knight can take, yeah, 2. And take one of the following actions. Very good. Hildegard's just a... she's just a girl. She's just making her way in the world. Just a human. Trying to figure out that, like, awkward transition when you're 16, 17 from being, like, a kid to being a young adult. Trying to figure out her place there. You know. She's just doing her thing. A character I played that was never on a podcast. This was just, I think it was the first character that I made unaided. My dad introduced me to D&D when I was... My dad introduced me to D&D when I was 6. And he, like, handed me... character sheets and helped, or like enabled me to progress their stories, but then he would always help me level them up and figure out what abilities could do. But when I was in middle school, I started 4th edition, and I made a Storm Soul Genasi named Ventus, Latin for... is it Latin for wind or for storm? Tempestas. Okay, so it must be Latin for wind. Yeah, there you go. So, Ventus. And, Ventus was a sword mage, so that Gish, Magus, like, build some swords, some spells, a lot of defense. I think the best way to build it using like 5e rules as written builds would be, I'd probably build Ventus as an air Genasi, because they don't have like the storm Genasi in 5th edition. Air Genasi with probably a storm sorcerer, and then maybe Eldritch Knight Fighter multi-class. That's probably how I'd do it. And then I'd take spells like Warp Step. I think that's the name of the one, right? In 5th edition, or Vortex Warp, something like that. In 4th edition, it was Dimensional Vortex. and it allowed you, when an enemy hit your ally, it allowed you to teleport the enemy somewhere else, and they would finish the attack against a different target, or against like the empty air if there was no one to hit there. Let me know how that goes, Faz. That reminds me of like that Bollywood scene where there's all of those soldiers lined up on a palm tree that they've tied into the ground, and then one of them cuts the rope on the palm tree, launching it upright, sending all of the soldiers flying over the battlement. And then while they're midair, they all join hands and like bundle up into a barrel, and they all have shields on their back, so they're literally just this giant barrel of soldiers running through, like rotating through the air. They hit the ground and they're shielded so the ground doesn't hurt them, and then they all like do somersaults and land on the ground and pull their swords out and they're ready to go. That's the image I get when you talk about launching a cage full of Gretchlings out of a catapult. That's awesome. What am I on? Deep Shroom. What movie is that from? I've only seen the scene. I've always wanted to track it down and watch the whole movie, just for whatever other shenanigans they get up to. Barrel of soldiers and siege equipment. Yes. I'll save that for like the macro play supplement that we may do at some point. Please do, please do. If you can track down what that is, I'd love to know. I think I figured it out at one point, but I never wrote it down, so I'll have to do the like rabbit hole again and find it. I'll let you know if I do. The 500k stretch goal is a barrel of soldiers as a catapult weapon. That was a question, not a statement. I'm not confirming nor denying. That's the name of the movie, is Bahulubi's Army. Maybe I'll get Cody to do that for Homebrew movie night sometime. That'd be awesome. My first D&D character that I played back in 3.5, the one that my dad started me out on, was Prince Roderick, a valiant human paladin. I really don't remember very much about 3.5's mechanics, but really enjoyed that character. I kind of self-inserted. I was like, you know, I'll go be a hero in this world, and Prince Roderick was kind of my venue into that. Yeah, thank you, Diddley. I'm actually gonna do that right now. I'm gonna make a note of it in my to-watch list. Perfect. If for nothing else than just for all of the fun shenanigans. Oh, that's awful, Trevor. That's brilliant. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah. Whether that's insanity damage or in the Veil of the Eternal Night campaign, I may have to recycle that in some capacity. That is diabolical. Oh, just Bahubali. Okay. That is a great point, Laudamus. Oops, can take move. Can move and take 2. The following actions. When does the soul of a golem start? Ask your MC. I'm gonna abdicate on that, or recuse myself on that one. At least for now, live. I need to go do a reading before I answer that. Let's see, it doesn't have any additional benefits. Horcrux of whom? Of themselves at that point? Spaz, let me know what they decide. Andy, I am so glad you pointed out that little arrow to me. That's amazing. That's so cool. I know I'm acting like it's a big deal, but I've been manually tabbing back and forth between so many things for months working on this wiki. That's some really cool lore, Laudamus. That's a really interesting take. It was horrible. It's why it's taken me so long to get back into doing the wiki. It's it reminds me of when you showed me. Let me do this real quick. When you revealed to me that if I type something and I need to speed up the process, I can do this little drag thing and it copies it. How cool is that? I had no idea. Again, saved me hours and hours and hours of work once Andy showed me that. Andy is good at like technomancy. Same with Spaz. Like they find all of these amazing like quality of life hacks, like those kinds of things. Which I'm sure if I took the time to read like the tutorial about how to design the wiki, I'm sure it's probably in there somewhere, but did not take the time for that. Later, Trevor. Have a good night. See you later. I was thinking about things to whoops, that's not right. Things to talk about during this stream, and I'm not going to tonight, but sometime I might recount the story of what I consider to be my best D&D campaign that I ran as a dungeon master. I had a really good group of players, which certainly helps, but everything just worked. The story was awesome and inspiring and very like moving for the players, but in order for me to tell the story with like the justice or with the kind of elevated status that it deserves, or at least that I think it deserves, I'd probably want to pre-record it and do like some production, get some illustrations, that kind of stuff. But maybe I'll do that at some point. I think that could be fun. I don't know if Java is around, but I have avoided drinking more coffee today after those 2 cups. Just tea and actual water. I've been doing quite well. Just for you, Andy, there's a space bar. I apologize, I think I forgot on a couple of the other ones. Do love coffee. I've become much more of a tea drinker as well over the past few years. I'm sorry for the twitching that I'm sure I caused you, Andy, for missing those. A pot of coffee a day, Latimus? I average maybe half a pot a day, so I'm not quite to that level, but there have been days that I've done a whole pot in a day. I don't know what that was. The Tico, the deep shroom hive. I really like this soundtrack. It reminds me of a song on Spotify that I found, like a soundscape that I found, that I used as a theme song for one of the main antagonists in the novel that I wrote for my graduate thesis. It is not the same song. This one is from Envato, so it's like licensed through the Homebrew Network. The other one is, I think it was by Audio Machine, so it's much larger, I mean, they've done work on, like, I think on Avengers and, like, high-level movies like that. But certainly on some movies and on a lot of video games, like, they're larger. But it's got a similar rhythm, similar instruments. The novel is not anywhere you can find it yet. It is, it is a potential magnum opus. I'm not ready to release it. I've got a lot of editing I still need to do on it, a lot of revisions I need to make. It was my plan to find an agent in 2023. I graduated with my master's in summer of 22, and 23, it was my goal to find an agent or to get 50 rejection letters, so that I tried that many times. Then Wizards of the Coast blew up the OGL, and I thought, well, you know what? I also love making games. Let's try this MythCraft thing. And so, yeah. So the novel is shelved for now. I think about it frequently, and I occasionally write down notes for like scenes to add or remove or restructure. But it's been a few months since I've actually sat down and done like some serious drafting. Thank you. I appreciate that, Latimus. I have published 0 novels. I have written, not that they're all good. Some of them are like middle school, high school. Maybe there's some good concepts in there, but the writing is just not up to a standard that I would be comfortable releasing. 7, unless there's one I'm forgetting. Yeah, I think 7. 7 novels. Yeah, originally I set out to be a novelist, and now, now I'm a game designer. So I would love to do a lot of both. For now, game design is like where my focus is. Well, thank you, Playtest What Breaks. I really appreciate that. That's very kind. I'm very happy about MythCraft too. Like, I am not where I expected. Yeah, that's my hope, Latimus, once it gets off the ground a little bit more. Novels about Lauren and Sarah, absolutely. That was a stretch goal that we didn't hit in our first Kickstarter. I have all kinds of ideas about Aunt Sarah lore, so that's going to be separate from the universe, the multiverse that I've been working on my own. I've kept them separate so far. MythCraft is more tied to the podcast network. Sanity Damage has some MythCraft overlay from like a lore standpoint, although it hasn't really come into like the forefront yet. But yeah, I mean, I'm not where I expected to be in 2024, not at all, but I would not wish for anything to be different. I love MythCraft, obviously. I love working on all of this. I'm very excited to see what comes of it. And yeah, hopefully once things are off the ground a little bit more, I'll have some time to go back and polish up some of those very old drafts and get the ball rolling on some of those novels. Gonna remind myself real quick what the Durgu is. It's a creature created when a humanoid creature suffers the disease-ridden bite of a spore bat. They're confused with vampires due to similar feeding patterns and their connection with bats. They are unbothered by direct sunlight. The dark, inky remains of a drained creature becomes a slough, a servant of the Durgu. Well, that's frightening, and I'm glad I stumbled across this guy again, because that's very Veil of the Eternal Night. I'm gonna, again, make a quick note to see if there's a plot arc that should involve them. Note, check Durgu with Veil of the Eternal Night lore. That could be fun. Fun for the MCs, less so for the players. I mean, I say that, but like players love it, right? When you throw something terrifying at them, that's most of the fun of the game. That and like really good storytelling and like the bond with friends. I shouldn't say most. That is a big aspect of the fun of the game. The Durgu, I can't remember who came up with all of them. I think the Durgu was Maiko, actually, who did most of our color art. So this art piece was John, but this one would have been Maiko. Maiko did a lot of brainstorming for monster ideas. So I think the Durgu and the Slough and the Spore Bat were her creation. Speed 30 feet with a spacebar. Immune. Sensors. Have a good night, playtest still breaks. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for hanging out. Andy, do you know what you would have as Kyrus's ideal mount? Or do you want to keep that close to the chest, wait until it's time to do the reveal? No idea yet. Ethereal, that's terrible. It can just yeet itself through a wall. So, if we're going with, like, the Egyptian theme with Kyrus, then, like, a Sphinx could be an awesome mount, but it's not that creepy, so I'd be very excited to see, like, what else you come up with when the time is right. That is quite the retinue of features. I saw this and I was like, laughter? I don't think that's right. It's missing an S. There we go. Ponycorn! Yes! Kyrus riding a ponycorn would be amazing. Or Kyrus riding a unicorn. Like, 9 Tails of Torture. If Kyrus rode a ponycorn, Hildegard would finally stop being scared of Kyrus, I think. Wow, I see just how many formatting things I've missed now with all of that. Hey, what's up, Brandon? Thanks for popping in. I am just hanging out doing some data entry for the MythCraft wiki. Some of the topics we covered earlier, Brandon, I'd love to know from you as well. What are some of the favorite player characters that you have played in D&D or MythCraft or any other tabletop game. I think my Star Wars shirt has a little green in it. I've got the see-through effect going on there. I even changed shirts because I was wearing a Marvel shirt that had the Hulk on it, and so it just looked like half of my chest was missing. Whoops. That is a great idea, like the hippo god. I'm gonna have to use Dirt Goose. I forgot about these guys. I am going to forget if I don't do this now, so I'm going to go back and fix the formatting real quick on the other creatures. Head of a crocodile, forms of a lion, and the hind limbs of a hippo. Okay. That is more frightening. In the Riordan verse, Percy Jackson and the Kane Chronicles and all of that, it, I think, was literally just a hippo, just like a pygmy hippo. It was like adorable, but then it would devour people's hearts. So I guess that was just Rick Riordan playing with it. Let's see, Deva. Feet is good there, feet is good there. That's some missed formatting. Let me check that. Half-elf. Elf monks are a great 5th edition build. That's really fun. Here we go. Deva is fixed. Let's check the Death Knight. Missed that. Hello, how's it going, Aurora? Thanks for joining us. I'm just doing some MythCraft data entry, hanging out and talking about favorite character builds. If you have a favorite D&D or MythCraft or other role-playing game character build that you've done, I would love to hear it, so drop it in chat and I'll read it out. Check the deep shrooms. almost caught up. That wasn't too bad. You never realize how many green things you have until you're streaming. So it is good to find kind of a balance between just flavor and like kind of a min-max build. Deep Shroom Shambler, I believe, is done. Back to Deep Shroom Hive. Feed looks good there. Missed it there. Ooh, fun! Let us know how it goes, Aurora. Are you MCing, or are you going to be a player character? And Laudamus, there are going to be more dungeon crawls. I've got some sessions lined up for this weekend, and let me. I'll DM you after the stream. I've been doing the rounds, so I apologize that I forgot to send it your way. But yeah, Saturday streams. I'm even going to do Sunday streams, even though it's the Super Bowl, because I forgot it was the Super Bowl when I set it up, and other people are equally not super into sports ball as me, so we're still going to play and work on the Deep Ruin dungeon crawl, see if you guys can get out of there. Ooh, and I should add Durgu and Deep Shrooms to the dungeon crawl, because they're both cave-ish, thematically appropriate. That could be fun. Nice, that's awesome, Aurora. Please let us know how it goes. Excited to hear about that. I mean, level 9 average, what is that? An average damage output of 21 on each of your turns? That's not that bad, is it? I guess what game system is this? Is this MythCraft or is it 5th edition? Because it definitely depends on what what game you're playing, what the rest of the party is able to do by comparison. I think I got all the correct stuff here. Spacebar, yep. Yeah. Yep, okay. Right, yeah, okay. Armorsmith's... Oh, Armorsmith Battlemaster multiclass? Or, because Armorsmith Battlemaster, that's an Artificer Fighter multiclass, right? Thanks, glad you're liking it, Brandon. This is just some spooky vampire type music that I found on Envato. Used on Dracanus. There's another mount possibility for. Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense, Jan. This is another potential mount for Kiris. That could be fun. There you go. paladin level. Just like a dip into paladin for some abilities there. One of my favorite, going back to like the player character conversation, I just did this guy for a one-shot, but Body Nook is an NPC in my campaigns. He is a gnomish potato merchant that travels the multiverse. Nice. That's a good build, good combo, Jan. And Body Nook is up to all kinds of shenanigans all the time. But I played him as a 5th edition player character one time, and I did the Soarlock build, where I can get infinite spell slots by converting my Pact Magic short rest abilities into, or short rest slots, spell slots, into meta magic points. And it's just this infinite loop of now that I'm saying that, I can't remember exactly how it works, but I'm sure you've all seen this build. It's an infinite loop of spell slots when you do that multi-class. It was I'm trying to remember the name of the episode. It was a Homebrew holiday special. It was like our Christmas special. It was basically the Muppets Christmas Carol, but run through Grant's filter of like mad DM ideas. Yeah, the coffee log, that's right. They put that in Baldur's Gate, like in one of the video games. That's awesome. Or is Baldur's Gate like just, again, I haven't played Baldur's Gate yet. Is it just built so that you can build your D&D characters as if it's like a 5th edition game? Okay. I mean, I've pretty much exclusively heard good things about Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, I just haven't had a chance to play it yet. And I've got like a fairly large backlog of video games that I really do want to like sit down and play through, so I'm gonna get through those before I cough up $70 for another one. Nice. Yeah, there are some games that just suck you in, and you've just gotta keep playing them. I know I lost a lot of hours to Timberborn when I first got it, just because it was so soothing, and I would just be like, oh, I'll just play one more like in-world day, just one more day. It's one of those that just got me in that loop. Yeah. I'll let you know when I play it. I'm not sure realistically how soon that'll be, but you know, hopefully sometime like this summer, this fall, I'll get a chance to dig into it. You know, so I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet. I also haven't seen the D&D movie yet, Honor Among Thieves. I also heard it was very good. Heard it was well done. I'm sure there were a lot of really fun references as well. I'm assuming many of you have seen it, so I'm curious what your impressions were of it. Fantastic, yeah. Yeah, I heard it was really fun, and that there were a lot of, like, very specific references to the gameplay itself. I will, especially now that it's, like, on streaming, now I'm definitely going to watch it when I get a chance. Maybe when I'm, like, off stream just doing more data entry like this, I'll put it up and watch through it. Yeah, have heard really good things. Best parts were the Easter eggs. Like, I heard something about, like, the last battle in the game, or in the movie, being done in initiative. Like, somehow it was done in 6-second rounds, so curious to see, like, how they pulled that off. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen it. That's just what I heard from one of my friends that went and watched it. So some kind of Easter egg there. I'm not sure. No worries. Welcome back, Powell. Thanks for popping in again. Gonna do this for 30 more minutes and then go grab dinner before movie night with Cody. Many of you are already in our Discord. If you are not, then it is discord.gg/mythcraft. And in about an hour and a half, Cody is going to stream and commentate on 30 Days of Night for our next vampire movie stream. Been doing one per week in doing one movie stream per week throughout the month of January and now throughout the Kickstarter. So I'm not sure if we'll keep doing them after. We'll see. I know we do them on Friday nights as well in the Homebrew Discord channel. Back to the D&D movie, right, Laudamus? They put some cheesy tropes and terrible names that were meant for the players. That's fun. I'll enjoy that. It's like my Oh, here's a question. Favorite movie? If you have to pick, if you're able to narrow it down to one, if you have to pick a favorite movie, I'd love to know what it is. Mine is The Princess Bride. If I broaden it out from favorite movie and do top like 10, that's when it becomes impossible for me because there's just so many good ones to pick from. But in my heart, I don't think anything is gonna top The Princess Bride. Now You See Me. Okay. Now You See Me. Now You See Me. Okay, yeah. Now, Ocean's 11 is great. Now You See Me. It took me a second to place it. I was thinking of I See You, which is a horror movie that came out on Netflix a while ago. But yeah, Now You See Me was really fun too. The Magicians, the Illusionists was really fun. 7 or Silence of the Lambs. Andy, I'm not sure if I've heard of 7. I'm sorry. I know it is between 6 and 8. But beyond that, Hereditary was good. I liked Hereditary. I'm not familiar with the movie 7. I know there's just so many good movies. It's hard to pick one. Is it What's in the Box? Is that it? I read The Last of the Mohicans. I didn't know that it was a movie. Thinking through some other movies, if I had to do a top 10 list, it would take a really long time for me to narrow it all down. But the first Pirates of the Caribbean might be in that top 10. That's a really good movie. There was one that came out pretty recently on Netflix, I believe. I can't remember for sure. It was one of the streaming services that I have the subscription to. I believe it was Netflix. It's Leave the World Behind. And that was a very good movie. I was shocked to see it become a movie. Because it was a novel that I read in grad school. Met the author and everything. He the author came and did like kind of a talk presentation on it. Actually, maybe I'm getting authors mixed up. I read the book in grad school. I can't remember. I met several authors. I can't remember if this one was one that I met or not. But anyway, it was a good book that I didn't think would translate very well into a movie, but it did. It had some big name actors in it, and it was quite good. The actors did very well. The story, the pacing was good. Yeah, Leave the World Behind I would recommend if you haven't seen it yet. Odd Thomas, Laudamus. No, I have not seen Odd Thomas. Tell me about it. Yeah, Curse of the Black Pearl, that's a really good one. Like, all the characters are really good, the story is enjoyable. I enjoy Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3, I just don't enjoy anything after that. 4 or 5, I think they're working on 6. They should have stopped at 3, I think. Indiana Jones, which one, Jan? Who has seen Van Helsing? You know, I actually haven't yet. I really need to get on that. I need to watch Van Helsing. With Indiana Jones, I liked the first one. I really liked the third one. There were some fun scenes in the second one, but it just didn't do it in the same way. I have not seen the newest Indiana Jones yet, either. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right, Aurora. Jack is the show-stealing cast member, but he's not the main character. The main characters are Will and Elizabeth. I'm gonna put Van Helsing on my to-watch list real quick too, because I am sure I'll find some inspiration there for Veil of the Eternal Night. I'm trying to think of non-fantasy, non-sci-fi, non-horror, like realistic movies that would make my top 10 list. Or like, because I mean, that's most of what I watch is speculative. Leave the World Behind was an exception, but I don't think I would put it in my top 10 list. Exactly, yeah, that's a good analysis, Aurora. Like, he works best, Jack Sparrow works best when you don't know whose side he's on. I completely agree there. Thing with novels that the plot was terribly... I'm gonna assume you pressed enter. It's like the thought cut off there. Again, trying to think of non-speculative or non-genre stories that I really like. And it's hard because I guess, like, old-timey, like, Jane Austen movies, adaptations of Jane Austen novels, I guess that would count as some kind of genre as well, right? That'd be like historical fiction at that point. And I like Jane Austen. I like Jane Austen movies. I like some Jane Austen books, and I don't know. Even so, I don't think they would make top 10 for me. The Englishman who went up a mountain but came down a hill. Nice. I have not heard of that one, Aurora. I have heard of the VeggieTales spoof of that one, but I didn't realize that it was inspired by something. So I'll check that out. That sounds nice. Anything Winnie the Pooh. If we're getting into like animated movies, I love Winnie the Pooh. I appreciate that Blood and Honey exists, but I will not watch it myself just because Winnie the Pooh is my childhood, and I'm not willing to ruin my childhood that dramatically. But I heard Blood and Honey was good, so happy for Oh, went up a hill and came down a mountain. Okay. Well, happy for people that like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, but it's just not one I'm gonna watch. Ooh, there's another beautiful illustration from Maiko. Dread Skull. A floating skull and spinal column animated via terrible necrotic and psychic energy. The Dread Skull uses powerful psychic attacks. When a Dread Skull... Excuse me, wrong pipe. When a Dread Skull can be created with dark rituals, it can also self-propagate. Anyone killed by a Dread Skull risks becoming one. That's gross. Huh. Cool. Never let you get near a Dread Skull. You don't want to have your spine separating from your skeleton and wiggling out of your body. Doesn't sound like a fun time. Yeah, stay away from this thing if you have commoner stats. I'll get us started on one more conversation topic. This topic could get me talking too much, because I need to stop in about half an hour to make like time for turnaround for Cody's stream. But I am curious what all of your favorite Marvel movies are, or your opinion on Marvel movies, Marvel heroes, villains. I can talk endlessly about Marvel. I'm one of those people who never got burned out of it. I know a lot of people did after Endgame. They took a break, and some came back, some didn't. And if you have not watched Marvel, or if you're not a Marvel fan, I am curious why. Iron Man, classic. I have another Iron Man. I've always been a Captain America. I love his dedication to his friends, his refusal to give up on Bucky, his refusal to leave anyone behind, even his refusal to leave behind, like, spoilers for Marvel movies. Spoilers for... I'll do this in a spoiler-free way. There is a character who, if Captain America was willing to sacrifice, would have prevented a cataclysm. Captain America said, no, I'm not going to sacrifice anyone. And then a cataclysm happened. And I appreciate that character. You can argue whether that's a character flaw or not. Like, the needs of the many, the needs of the few. Captain America's like, no, we're staying together. We've got each other's backs. He's loyal to a fault, and I really appreciate that. So, Captain America is my favorite, and Spider-Man is right behind him as, like, my second favorite. I used to not like Iron Man. I've come around, and I really appreciate Iron Man. I really like him as a character, and I love his arc. I love his inventive nature, and of course his quips and his personality. Yeah. Okay, so we've got 2 Iron Mans and 2 Captain Americas, so we're ready for a civil war. I'm assuming when you say Iron Man and Cap, you DC camp. All right. Who are your favorite DC characters? We can go there too. Batman. I love Batman. I like a lot of the DC heroes. I especially like the DC animated universe on HBO. I think they've done a lot of really great things there. But as live action goes, I do love every Batman movie that I've seen. I have watched most of the DCEU, and there have been some good ones. But there has been, in my opinion, there's been a lower hit rate with good DC live-action movies than there has with good Marvel live-action movies. It's really hard to go wrong with Batman. Like, I still think Captain America is my favorite superhero overall, but Batman, maybe it's Captain America, Batman, Spider-Man. They're all very close. The Nolan trilogy, I love it. I love it. And I don't know, okay, superhero line. I'll agree with you there. It's a very, very good progression. But the Batman, 2022 The Batman, was so good. Robert Pattinson did such a good job. Punisher is really good, yeah. I do love, like, the whole Defenders lineup, and the Netflix original series that is now on Disney+. The whole Daredevil line. Nolan Joker is the best, I'll agree there, for sure. Heath Ledger's Joker is the best. Exactly. Really, you didn't like the Batman? Do you have a specific reason why? Pacing, it did drag. At least some people thought it dragged. I didn't think it dragged. I really enjoyed kind of the world's greatest detective angle. I am really excited for part 2 as well. I think they're gonna have a teenage Robin, which could be really fun. What I will also say about the Batman versus Christopher Nolan's lineup of Batman movies, I think that the ensemble cast, bit long, disliked the villain, biggest motives were, yeah, the Batmobile was great, the visuals were really good. I liked the villain, but he was more shadowy, he didn't show up until the end. I liked kind of the message that they were working on with the villain. I don't think that there was very much chemistry between Batman and Catwoman, as opposed to in The Dark Knight Rises. I think there was much more chemistry there. Spider-Man resonates more with you. Yeah, exactly. I love that about Spider-Man. He always tries his best for he always tries his best for everyone, both for the heroes and for the villains. Okay, yeah, if you like your villains campy, then you're not gonna like the Batman as much. I thought he was a very good villain, even if he wasn't a good Riddler. And I do think that the Nolan lineup is just a better, like, overall ensemble cast. Like, again, I'll agree, Heath Ledger, you can't beat him. He's the perfect Joker. Michael Caine as Pennyworth is unbeatable as Alfred. Cillian Murphy, I'm never quite sure how to say it. Great as the Scarecrow. Tom Hardy as Bane was very good as well. So yeah, a stronger lineup, I think, in the Nolan trilogy. Okay, I haven't seen the Gotham TV series yet. That's on my list. It's low on my list because I keep bumping up like vampire stuff over it. Danny DeVito was an excellent Penguin. I'll agree with that. I love Danny DeVito's Penguin. I have seen the what's his name? The actor who plays Batman in the 1992 Batman with Danny DeVito and Michael. I'm forgetting his last name. Michael Keaton. I thought he was a very good Batman as well. I've seen his movies. That's as far back as I've gone with Batman. I haven't seen anything older than that. I think I might have missed. Nope, I got it. Okay. There's the one I missed. I thought I missed one. So while I think the ensemble of the Nolan Batmans is stronger, I will say, and I know this may not be a very popular opinion, I think Robert Pattinson did a better job of Batman than Christian Bale. I think the cast as a whole is very strong in the Nolan trilogy, but I don't know, Pattinson. I never would have thought that, given his like background originating with Twilight. But I think he did a very, very good job. He also does a very good job in The Lighthouse, with most of the movie is just him and Willem Dafoe, and they both do very well in that movie. It is darker. I enjoy that with my Batman. I like the dark side of the Batman stories. Totally understand if people prefer the campier Batman. I know a lot of people do too. Yeah, hey, how's it going, Cody? I loved The Lighthouse. It's about halfway through the movie. Robert Pattinson tells Willem Dafoe, "I don't like your soup." And Willem Dafoe goes off on him for 2 minutes. Like, I watched it and then I backed it up and checked the timestamps. It was try being mad at someone and yelling at them for 2 minutes straight. It's difficult. It's excessive. It goes on and on and on, and you keep thinking he's going to come to the end of his run-on sentence, and he keeps invoking the name of another untold god from like the ancient past of the seas, and he goes on and he keeps going and keeps hammering Robert Pattinson for not liking his soup. And finally, at the end of it, after 2 whole minutes of this tirade, Pattinson's like, fine, have it your way. I like your soup. It's so good. I loved the whole movie. That has to have been my favorite scene, just because it was such a good, like, comedic release, but in a serious moment. It was very well done. Cody, thank you for recommending it to me. I really enjoyed it. Quickly, before I forget, I'm sure many of you saw this. It was floating around when Thor: Love and Thunder came out and Christian Bale was cast as the lead villain. It was a meme that was like, you either die a Batman or live long enough to see yourself become a Marvel villain. Because we had first Michael Keaton as Vulture, and then Christian Bale as Gore, the God Killer. Okay, a lot of myths. I have been that frustrated with people before. I have been that frustrated with things or topics before. But I have never been that frustrated with a person to their face before. I've never gone on at someone to their face for 2 minutes. I don't have the confidence for that. Like, I'll tell someone that I'm upset and like want to talk through something, but I'm gonna pause and get their feedback. Like, I'm gonna make it a conversation. I'm not just gonna go at someone. I will go at a topic, or if like when I was in college, I would go off on professors to other students that were in that same class with me. Like, we would rant about professors, but like directly at someone the way that happens in the Lighthouse, no, I have not done that. Aurora, that is the first movie opinion. Andy, you may be right. Maybe I should reel back that comment. You may be right about that. I stand corrected. Aurora, that's the first movie opinion that you have voiced that I disagree with, like, quite strongly. Like, I'm with you on Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm with you on some of the Batman comments that you've said, but I thought Thor 2 was actually quite a good movie, and I think that Christopher Eccleston did a good job of portraying that villain. I liked his performance better in Thor 2 than I did in season 1 of the Doctor Who reboot. I think he made a much better villain. I do. I'm in the minority. I know that. You can please don't, but you can leave the stream, you can unfollow, whatever. But I really, yeah, I didn't like Eccleston's Doctor very much, and I did like his Malekith, and I liked the whole story of Thor 2. I think it did some really good things for Thor's and Loki's relationship. I think it did good development for the Ether and the Infinity Stones. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Okay, see, I've never been in the military. That makes sense from my perception of the military and boot camp and like the media portrayal of sergeants. I can see that coming up in that environment. Lots of comments popping off. Let me catch up on that. Loki was great in it. Fair critique, lots of prosthetics. Needs to bring back Edward Norton. Who did Edward Norton play? I can't place that actor. Pierre, I think it totally depends on where you're at in the journey, right? He's a villain that becomes a hero. Edward Norton was in Hulk. Was he Wait, was he the first Hulk before Mark Ruffalo, or was he Abomination? Emil Blonsky. For disparaging your favorite Doctor, I'm sorry. I would rewatch them. He played the Hulk. Got it. Okay, Aurora, I would be willing to rewatch season 1 of the Doctor Who reboot. I have not before Ruffalo. I have not watched Doctor Who in quite a while, and I haven't watched Eccleston's Doctor Who since I was in high school. So maybe it's a maturity thing. Maybe it is just a taste thing, and I'm still just not gonna like him. I don't know, but I would give it another chance. I agree with you there, Pierre. David Tennant was an amazing villain in Jessica Jones. Again, all of the Defenders, even Iron Fist, all of the Defender stuff, I just really, really love it. There are definitely parts of Iron Fist that I think are tasteless and are done poorly, but I do think the entire saga on, like, as a whole is just incredible, and I am so excited for Daredevil Born Again, especially since they, like, restarted it. Like, it was going in a bad direction. I was getting more and more nervous about it, and then they brought back Eldon Henson, they brought back Deborah Ann Wall. I think they're on the right track again. I'm really excited. Yeah, I thought Iron Fist was pretty good. There were scenes that I think were they were shot, I think, in a way that ended up being problematic. I think they could have done a better job of it, but I didn't hate it. I thought Iron Fist was on the whole quite good. Yeah, I also really enjoyed Doctor Strange. Again, the only Marvel movie that I straight up did not like was The Eternals. Everything else, I at least enjoyed something about it. You know, for a lot of people, Iron Fist did fall flat. That's fine. And of the Eternals, while I didn't like it, I did really like the set pieces. Ancient Babylon was really fun to see some of that. Yeah, so, like, the set pieces were cool in the Eternals, but I still just I couldn't get into it. Yeah, so David Tennant in Jessica Jones was amazing. I agree that I think David Tennant was the best Doctor out of the ones that I've seen, and I stopped after Matt Smith, so I'm behind. But I think that the storytelling with Stephen Moffat, I think Stephen Moffat was the best Doctor Who writer, and he mainly did Matt Smith. So I think that the Matt Smith storylines were better than the David Tennant storylines, but I think that David Tennant was the better Doctor than Matt Smith. Yes, Cody. And Spaz, the Iron Fist and Luke Cage combo scenes were really fun. Dredger. We're getting close to our time here, so I'm gonna get the Dredger done. I'll be back doing kind of the same thing tomorrow morning. Great hanging out. Paolo, I'll talk to you later. See you in Discord. I'm gonna get the Dredger done and then sign off for the night. And then Cody's movie night starts in about an hour. Scroll cast him. There we go. I would love to see... Okay. A Gilgamesh trilogy. Like, get really deep, do some creative expansion. But a 3-part Gilgamesh movie has a ton of potential. I think you could do some really cool things with that. Tonight we are watching 30 Days of Night, if I remember correctly. Which I have not seen before, so I'm excited for that. Gilgamesh, starring Jason Momoa. Fan cast of Gilgamesh has Jason Momoa as Gilgamesh, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Enkidu. I don't know who I would get to play Ishtar. Or Utnapishtim. Yeah, you know, maybe Dwayne Johnson, maybe The Rock as Gilgamesh, and Jason Momoa as Enkidu. One or the other. Enkidu is supposed to look more, he was like raised in the wilderness, so maybe like the whole kind of long hair, ragged look. Yeah, I don't know, one or the other. And then Utnapishtim, I don't know. I mean, Alec Guinness, if he was still alive. Yeah, for sure. This is just like my fan casting. Like, out of people that like we know, who would I cast as these folks? But yeah, obviously, like if you get 1 or 2 big actors, you can branch out and find some new undiscovered talent. Squirrel. Gal Gadot could be Ishtar. And all 3 of them have acted together before. I mean, they've all been in the Fast and Furious franchise. They've Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa have obviously... Oh, actually, they've all been in the DCEU too, right? Because The Rock is Black Bolt. So they've all 3 participated in the same franchise twice before. So I think they could do a fun... yeah, they could do a fun grouping in the Gilgamesh saga. Thanks, Lotimus. I want to see that now. Like, that sounds like a really good casting for a fun, overlooked era of like world history, world mythology that could make for some really good stories. Cody, Invincible. I think so. Is that the like superhero world, like low power superhero world, where like this one guy just can't die, and there's like Dr. Glass or Professor Glass or someone like that who's trying to set up this scenario to push the protagonist into more and more dangerous scenarios. Is that Invincible? Is that movie? Because there were 2 or 3 set in that kind of world with like low power superpowers like that. There was one with like the person that had a... Oh, it's an animated show. Okay. No, I'm thinking of something else. Yeah, what am I thinking of then? Unbreakable, maybe? No, I have not seen Invincible then. I haven't seen that. Are they both called Invincible? I liked it. Yeah, it's fun seeing people do superhero worlds that that aren't DC and Marvel. I love DC and Marvel, but it's fun seeing other ideas too. Unbreakable, okay. Unbreakable, Unleashed, and Glass. Yeah, I've seen. Is Unleashed the one with the guy that has DID and like kidnaps someone? Because I've seen Unbreakable and I've seen the DID one that's like in the same world, dissociative identity disorder. Okay, I'll check out Invincible the show. I'll take a look at that. Another superhero world that I haven't dived into yet is The Boys, and I know The Boys is supposed to be like amazing. I'm excited to dive into it. I just haven't had a chance yet. Yeah, okay, so I don't think I've seen Glass, but I've seen the first two. Yeah, I'm excited for The Boys. I've just got to get through some more vampire stuff before I go back into my superhero phase again. I watched Loki season 2 and I watched Echo. Both of those were very good. And What If season 2. I think all of that was well done. Okay, I'll add Invincible to my list as well. Let me do that real quick before I forget. Thanks for the reco. I've also got to finish Cobra Kai. I was talking about that in one of my Castlevania streams. I think I'm on season 4 of Cobra Kai. So I've got one season left, and then they're planning on doing a season 6 and ending it at that. Echo is good, Pierre. Definitely do give it a finish. I'll watch it all the way through. And again, I'm just excited to see how Echo sets up Daredevil Born Again. Alright, there we go. I have done not a ton of monsters, but I did a handful, and had a great time hanging out with you all, so really appreciate you all hopping in. Again, if you haven't checked it out yet, go to Veil of the Eternal Night, just search theeternalnight.com to go to our Kickstarter page, and check out all the tiers that we have to offer. Let's see, we recently unlocked our player journal. Player journal stretch goal. So that is really exciting. We've got some more stretch goals coming up. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Definitely pop into discord.gg/mythcraft. We are in just about an hour going to boot up Movie Night, hosted by Cody, who's in chat with us here. So yeah, great conversations with all of you. I'm gonna head out and grab dinner before I'm back for Movie Night. Alright, talk to y'all later.